Okay, this is the one way to debunk all evolutionists and all atheists. You ready?
I don't know why atheists and evolutionists, whatever that means, are lumped into the same category, but let's hear it. I'm sure it'll be an argument in good faith with nothing dishonest.
Radiometric carbon dating is what they use to tell anything that is older than 50,000 years old.
This dude is speedrunning, failing his own argument. Radiocarbon dating is used to date things up to 50,000 years, not past. Carbon-14's half-life is 5,700 years. After 10 half-lives, or 57,000 years, there's less than 0.1% carbon-14 left, making it nearly impossible to use.
So, from the Big Bang all the way till when humans existed. And radiometric carbon dating is what they use for all of those evidence pieces.
Radiometric dating, like uranium-lead or potassium-argon, is used for older rocks and minerals. If I was feeling charitable, I could chalk it up to him not noticing while he was editing, but more than likely, he doesn't know the difference.
So, I'm here to tell you that it is invalid, and I'm going to tell you why. Firstly, in radiometric carbon dating, you have to make assumptions in order to get specific dates. So, based off what you believe is what the outcome will be. You'll make assumptions. Oh, this should be around 200,000 years ago. So they'll make assumptions to make it that way. If they test it and it's like 2,000 years ago, they'll be like, oh, no, change it. That's what they can do.
You have to make all sorts of assumptions when you do science. The thing is, they are either fundamental to the process or carefully tested and stated. For example, we assume things like natural causality, and that the universe operates in a consistent way following natural laws. Scientists also often test their own assumptions by conducting additional experiments to verify them. This idea that scientists make an assumption, test it, and find out it's wrong and decide to, quote, change it instead of performing more inquiry is just a bad creationist straw man of science and the scientific process.
Let me give you an example. If you walk by a sink and you see this cup there about halfway full with the tap dripping into the cup, you would have to make some assumptions as how it got there and how long it's been there. But let's say someone who was also in that kitchen says, yeah, it's just been sitting there for about 45 minutes. Then you would make your assumptions based off what that person said, right? Key words here, an eyewitness is needed in order to know if something is actually close to being true.
I would make an assumption based off what the person said because it's not that important. However, I could design an experiment and measure the rate of liquid dripping into the cup and how much liquid was in said cup to get a good idea of how long the cup had been there, which is all the more hilarious considering it's awfully similar to the predictable decay of radioactive isotopes we use to measure the age of materials like rocks and fossils.
The reason why everything is a guess before 6,000 years ago is because there was no eyewitnesses then. And that's where the Bible comes in, right? The oldest document of all time. We have nothing older than the Bible.
According to the Bible, the oldest book is the Bible? Man, that's some lazy thinking.
And what does the Bible claim? That God created everything about 6,000 years ago.
Checkmate, atheists.
And now actually to examples of radiometric carbon dating being invalid. The Mountain St. Helens in 1980, rocks which we knew were 10 years old or 40 years old, were researched and we had insane, weird answers that were way off. So how can it be valid with anything that we don't know?
Oh man, this is some groundbreaking stuff. The entire scientific community must have been thrown into disarray when it was published. Of course it would have been, but this is from the Journal of Creation. Nothing says good science like creating your own journal because they can't publish their science in peer-reviewed scientific journals. And of course, when you go look at this closer, these guys used potassium-argon dating, which is used to calculate things from approximately 100,000 years old to over 4 billion years old. Its effective range starts at 100,000 years because in samples younger than that, the amount of argon-40 produced from the decay of potassium-40 is too small to measure accurately. Effectively, these douche nozzles did the equivalent to using a yardstick to measure a width of hair, or using a 5-gallon bucket to measure a drop of water.
But the whole point I'm trying to make is if there was nobody there, then how are you going to know all those things happen?
Unless you believe the uniformity of nature principle is unreasonable, then we can absolutely reliably assume things without people having been there.
If there was humans here 100 or 200,000 years ago, why is the oldest language only a few thousand years old?
Ancient Sumerian is the oldest written language in the world, not necessarily the oldest spoken language, you dingus.
And if there was humans 100,000, 200,000 years ago, why is there no record of it at all? Please, Explain.
There is record of it. Your pseudoscience doesn't preclude it.
So yeah, in the end, if they don't have radiometric carbon dating, then they don't have anything to support evolution. So that's why I'm here.
Besides the fossil record, comparative anatomy, including homologous and vestigial structures, embryology, genetics, molecular biology, biogeography, and direct observation, with an uncountable number of massively replicated experiments, including one of the longest studies spanning over 30 years that has generated tens of thousands of generations of E. coli, as well as directed evolution experiments that used laboratory methods to evolve proteins with new or enhanced functions.
To combat that, let's go, lock in.
Dude's definitely locked in to his pseudoscientific beliefs and lazy thinking.